I remember there were times when I was procrastinating, scrolling on my phone, and it felt like I was paralyzed. I knew I should do something and stop scrolling, but it felt like I couldn't move my body, like I was just stuck there. And if you can relate to this, or if you had trouble with procrastination, then this video will be very helpful because we'll be talking about the technique that helped me get out of these situations and that helped me with procrastination in general. Now, before we get into that, make sure that you put this video in full screen and focus on this video because our attention span has been ruined by all these scrolling apps. Like, I'm sure that 90% of the people wouldn't be able to watch this video without getting distracted and without checking their phones. Like, think about how crazy that is. Most people can't focus for like 10 minutes or how long this video is going to be. So to train your attention span, make sure that you put this video in full screen. And I challenge you to just focus on this video. Look into my eyes and not get distracted. Now, the technique that helped me with procrastination is by thinking of the smallest action that I could do right now and doing that. That's it. The power of small actions and focusing on this present moment. Now let me explain. For example, I used this technique when I needed to study for the end of the year exam that we had at school. It was a huge test, and at one section of that test, we had to write about a certain poem or novel or something like that that they requested. And we had to write this 400 word minimum essay about it. And we had all these requirements, what had to be in that, and all of that stuff. Very boring. And there were like 13 or 15 of these essays that we had to learn, 400 words minimum. And it was awful. I hated it. It was like torture to me. Also because it was not in my main language, it was in Romanian, and I'm still not that great at that language, and it was way easier for me to memorize the essays instead of learning them and then writing them out in my own words because my grammar just wasn't that great and they probably wouldn't been able to understand what I wrote there. So I just had to memorize those. It was easier for me that way, and I never wanted to study those essays. I hated it, never wanted to do it. And the way I got myself to sit down and study for that test is by using the power of small actions and only focusing on the small action in front of me. I would literally think to myself, okay, what do I need to do? I literally just have to sit down, open the Word document, and read the first sentence. That's it. And then I did that. Then I actually did that. Or I would think to myself, okay, instead of thinking to myself, okay, now I have to learn this whole essay. No, just learn one sentence. Just read one paragraph. Just learn one paragraph, and that's it. After that, you can decide if you want to learn more. But for now, just learn one sentence. Learn one paragraph. And it actually worked. Because imagine if I had in my mind, oh man, I got to learn 13 or 15 of these essays. It's going to be so hard. Sitting down, if I had that thought in my mind, then sitting down and, learning one paragraph would seem insignificant to getting that goal, to getting towards that huge goal of having 13 essays learned. But by reframing it and telling myself, okay, no, today you just got to learn one paragraph. And that's it. Sit down and do that, and that's it. After that, you can decide what you will do. But for now, just do that and just focus on the task in front of you in this moment. Because in reality, in that moment, that's all I had to do. All I had to do was just sit down, open the document, and start reading. That's it. I had nothing else. In reality, all those 13 essays don't exist. All I had to do now is to read that one sentence and then the next sentence. Okay, once I read that, the next sentence. It might seem weird, but it's like washing dishes. In your mind, you might have all the dishes that you need to wash and a bunch of pile of dishes that you have washed before. But in reality, you always have to wash one dish at a time. And that's it. And then focus only on that dish in front of you. And then you just wash it like this. And put it up and then take the next dish. And just wash it. And just play along with it and just put it up and then take the next dish. It's the same idea. Focusing only on what's in front of you, the smallest action in front of you right now. So if you have trouble with procrastination, have this in mind. Just think of the smallest action that you can take and just do it. Take it by step by step. For example, if you don't feel like going for a run today, don't just tell yourself, okay, I'm just going to take on my running shoes and go outside. That's it. Nothing else. Just take on my running shoes and go outside and start walking. And once you do that, okay, I'm just going to start jogging maybe. Once you're there jogging, you're going to tell yourself, okay, I might as well just start running. I'm already out here. I already got my shoe on. Take it step by step. Think of the smallest actions that you can take. Instead of thinking, man, I got to write this 500-word essay or this huge script, just think to yourself, no. I just have to sit down and first write the title. Okay, once I got that, I just got to write the first sentence, and then the next sentence, and then the next sentence. It might sound weird, but just trust me, it works for me. It worked very well for me, and just try it out. Because when you're there sitting on a couch or lying in bed and you're thinking about the 4 hours of work that you got to do, it seems too hard. Your brain, it's too uncomfortable, it's too hard for your brain, it doesn't want to do it. But when you tell it, okay, no. We just got to, sit down and write this title. We just got to do this small little task. Just 2 minutes, just 5 minutes, that's it. Then it seems way easier to do it. And your brain won't take that small action, that it won't think that, oh, this is so hard. It will look at it as, it's like meaningless. We can just get it over with. And you will get this like snowballing effect. It will be so much easier to start actually working, getting into that deep work. Once you're there, once you're already got the document open or whatever, it's so much easier once you're there. The hard part is starting. Work itself is not that hard. The hard part is always just getting started. That's why you just got to push yourself through that. Think of the small action and just get started and just do it for 2 minutes, do it for 5 minutes. And you see, the reason why this works is because when our mind doesn't want to do something, it will convince you that you don't want it. This is so interesting. When your mind doesn't want to do something, it will start rationalizing and telling you, convincing you that you don't want it. It will start telling you these thoughts that, this is not enough. This never works for me. Or it's not worth it. I'm going to be stuck here forever. Your brain crafts the life it wants, not the life that you want. You know that you should do it, but your brain is convincing you, no, it's better to stay here in this great comfortable place. It's better to scroll on social media. It's better to eat this cheesecake or this pizza. It will craft the life that it wants, not the life that you want. And the way to bypass this is, of course, by not believing every single thought that we have, and also by focusing on the tiny actions in front of us instead of setting these huge goals. Because what happens when we set these huge goals? The tiny actions that leads there, it will feel like they are insignificant. That they are barely getting us there to that huge goal, and we will feel like we're stuck, that it's not worth it. And once you let go of these huge goals, and once you let go of the result, the outcome, and focus on what's in front of you now, right now, these tiny actions, your brain will take it as like, oh, this is just meaningless. Let's just get this over with. Let's just, 2 minutes of this, let's just do it. And it will be much easier to do these actions that lead you to those goals. Now, if you have trouble doing that initial small action, if you're laying there in bed and you don't even want to write that title, if you don't even want to get your shoes on, then I have another great tip for you. Just count to 5 and do it. That's it. It might sound very simple again, but it has helped me a lot. Literally just count to 5, and at the end of the counting, just move your body, get up, and just do it. Force yourself to do it. Just count to 5, stop thinking, just get up and move your body. Because it's actually very important to move your body, because I think I heard it somewhere, maybe there was like some study done with this practice, or I don't know, that if you move your body, when you have this thought of doing something, you're much more likely to do it. Instead of, just laying there and thinking, yeah, I should do this. But if you move your body, yeah, I should do this, you're much more likely to do it. For example, I use this technique when I need to take a cold shower. When I'm standing there in front of the shower and the water is running there in front of me and it's cold and I don't want to get in there, it's uncomfortable, I don't like it. I just take 3 deep breaths. And at the end of the last breath, I just go in. No thoughts, no thinking, I just go in. It's basically the same principle and it works great for me. It's basically the same principle, but instead of counting, I take deep breaths and that's it. But I can also just, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, boom, get in the cold shower. And you can also just do this. And start by doing some small things to get this habit going that no matter what, at the end of that count, you do it. So as a recap, first, think of the smallest action that you can take right now, count to 5, and then go and just do it. And this counting to 5 can actually be very useful if you're scared of approaching a girl, for example. You just count to 5 and then you just force yourself to approach that girl without thinking, with no thoughts. You just go there and say something no matter what. This can also help there. And by the way, if you watched till this end of the video, especially if you also put it in full screen and you were able to focus, you should be proud of yourself. Because this means that if you watch to the end of this video, this means that your attention span is probably better than 95% of the people. Now you might remember that we talked about how your brain crafts the life that it wants, not the life that you want. If you're interested more about that, how to control your mind by being bored, very interesting. I made a whole video about it, you can check it out. And now, as an actionable step, you probably have something to do right now that you don't want to do. And you're here procrastinating, watching a video about procrastination. So instead of watching another YouTube video, at the end of this video, when it stops, count to 5 and do that thing that you need to do. So first, think of the thing that you need to do. Maybe you need to study, maybe you need to clean up your room. What is it? Think of that. Once you got that, when this video stops, count to 5 and just go and do it. And also, if you're interested, I'm doing free one-on-one calls. You can send me an email and we'll arrange a video call and you can ask me anything that you want. So if you want that, email in the description. So go and do that thing right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Or you can do it the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go!